Sorry, I'm saying we. You've built
Well,
all
yeah,
the
it,
code.
it is we though, because it's
Uh,
definitely the community aspect. Like, we're building this together. Like, the
yeah.
ideas aren't unique to me. I really been seeing that in the last few weeks as like Jay and I have been building out Minecraft and Mindustry and all these other projects we've been working on. But like, our skill sets are completely different. That's something we've known for a while, but it's really become apparent. Like, his design is a little more keen than mine. His affinity for things like role playing, storytelling, like he can craft the quest and the RPG elements, while I can craft, well, I'm very technical and linear. I can build plugins. So like, those are completely separate things, but there's a lot of overlap in our skill sets where it's sort of cool seeing those things mesh. But there's
And
one example.
it's a very positive thing in in a relationship where there's not just a yes man, like you're doing the same thing. Where there's differences, there's innovation, and there's like, ooh, I like that. I can push that.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that transitions over to you. Maybe it's just that you have different areas. But Jerome and I, you know, he disagrees with a lot of what I do, and then has his 2 cents, and then I'm like, well, I think I can also
That's
then.
cool.
So uh, we've been through so many designs, but uh, like we did this for months with Factorio,
Right.
um, and we both have built an entirely separate uh, train only crafting system, um, and it's completely different. And it's just crazy how that sort of innovation is pushed, and it
Hmm.
helped. Um, and you know, in this environment, uh, like from the Factorio um, schematic designing aspect, I I can work this down to the bone. But then I watched like a few minutes of this Hext person's YouTube video, and I'm watching the APM just flow, and he's not using schematics. He's freehanding things because he
Right.
doesn't need schematics. He's got the resource. Just bam, bam, bam. It's just faster that way. Um, so um, where so Jerome keeps saying this to me, like the he said with like version 6 coming out, he said that's a stupid idea. The game's already complicated enough. The player base is already pretty stupid, and giving them more stuff is just going to overcomplicate things.
Right.
Um, and and I don't see that as the problem. It's um,
Well, it's almost, a lot of things are too complicated for new players if they haven't played the tutorial and the mini series, and like that's the
but
first thing I did. I didn't find multiplayer until after I'd beat 50% of the campaign, to the point where you unlock every structure and mech and unit. But
he
most
got to the
players
last
jump in
level.
PvP and they're like, I have no clue what I'm doing, and they're like,
Hmm.
they're shocked that they're losing matches. But oh, funny, there's my NPC. Anyway, I want to do a quick tour of the Minecraft world while I'm still here. But what Jason and I have been working on today are the arenas and starting out some buildings for some quests. But we want to have multiple factions that a player's able to join. If you played Skyrim before, you might recognize some of these aspects. But like, maybe there'll be a thieves guild or an assassins guild. It might be you either join the Kingsmen or you join the rebels. So this is like the war room we've built, and this will be like the headquarters for the town guard. Uh, these Anything you see here might be used as a trigger for a quest. Here we have the main floor, and this has like an office for the leader of the town guard. Here in the basement, we have some storage, and there could be hidden items or hidden features down here. We haven't really even started fleshing out these quests. We just have like some high level concepts, but this is just one of the structures. Over here in the town, there's going to be probably a shopping area, like a sort of market type deal, which we're going to build out here. And then we have this right here, this bank. So you're gonna have inventories that sort of switch in and out depending on what world you're in. So there's whole separate world just for arenas, and you might lose items during your attempts at these quests if the quest is really complicated. So one thing you have here is the bank. So this will integrate with a plugin called Vault, and you'll actually have like a basically an account of the in-game currency, or you can actually store items using this little personal vault. So this is something we have through a plugin, but it allows just to have like banking networks. So there'll be multiple banking networks for players, and as they rank up and do quests, they'll have access to more storage or different networks, or donors will have special perks, things like that. But this will allow you to store inventory items. And what we want to do is something like if you've ever played Escape from Tarkov, you might recognize this mechanic, but you'll actually be able to bring in items into a PvP match and then keep your winnings. So it'll allow players to sort of like get really high tier gear and then go into a fight and potentially profit. And that could be really interesting as a mechanic. But there might be quests where the king of the land here in the castle is saying, "Hey, you got to go get some reputation and rapport. So you have to go over to the arena and win a certain number of matches, and that unlocks the next phase of the questing." Or maybe you'll go over here to the war camp, and the quest will be you need to kill 30 zombies, and then you'll go over here to some sort of war field that we build where you'll fight mobs. Or there'll be a trader quest where you have to go to the port and pick up items or transport items. Or there'll be like a poacher's quest where maybe you'll have to go. I think we have a bunch of fox spawners, for instance. You might have seen one over here earlier if you've been watching the stream.
Uh, yeah.
But like all these different things that we're sort of going to build out, a whole world that is has these RPG elements. Here's the other thing we've been working on today. It's this portal system, but this you walk through and you're in this sort of arena selection area where you can be joining like a Hunger Games arena, PvP arena, a mob arena, or other types of game modes like Spleef and stuff like that. But I think we've built out something that's really cool, and over the next few days we'll keep fleshing it out. It'll probably take us weeks and months. We'll just like add to it incrementally. But here's some of the arenas. I posted images earlier in the media channel on Discord. But here's one of our Hunger Games arenas, and some of these arenas might work better as PvP or a mob wave based arena or Spleef or whatever. But we're still
Mm.
sort of fleshing it out. Like we have these Star Wars ones. This is like the Battle of Naboo from the first movie. So
Yeah.
this was a schematic and a world file that was just posted on like a Planet Minecraft or a Minecraft schematics. But it's sort of cool like what the community's been building. So we've incorporated this into some of our arenas. But here's like the droid troop transport, landing on Naboo. And then over here, I think we named this one Tatooine. It's sort of cool. You got the Star Destroyer and the Tie Fighters, motherships down here. I think this is a
Mm.
Jawa crawler. But the cool thing is we want to integrate the two worlds, like have these PvP elements, have this sort of RPG narrative, and then also have down the road player shops, player plots of land where you can build your own house, invite your friends. And then we want to make the quest interactive in a way that like you can have multiple players do the quest together. And that's gonna be really cool to see when we
Mm.
get down to that level in our questing and scripting. But yeah, we'll see
Uh,
where it goes.
would you have like boss fights?
Yeah, definitely. We have a way to do. JJ actually figured this out today, but you can change the mod attributes a little bit, like for the mobs, make have more hit points or spawn as a larger size, things like that. So maybe there's a server called Hypixel, and they
Yes.
do massive boss fights where you'll have like an entire group of like 30 to 40 players all fighting to kill one mob, and whoever gets it and gets the kill gets a special item they get to take out of the arena. And that's sort of cool because hey, what we'll probably do is have these sort of boss or like unique fights that give you these special items you can either store in the bank or use in a later quest line. And we're gonna make it so you sort of have progression going through, and maybe there'll be some benefits like a lot of the arenas will just be vanilla, like you don't have additional stats or multipliers or anything like that. But maybe there'll be arenas down the road that are separate where you have a a multiplier effect because you completed the full quest line. It won't be a very significant multiplier. Like it's not gonna be like game changing, but a 5 to 10% increase in the effectiveness of healing, or your speed is slightly faster if you join the Assassin's Guild or something like that. So all kinds
Yeah.
of different things. But
I guess the complications with that come with when you have items for a quest line
right, when they're
and those
like
items become
expendable.
lootable
Mm,
or expendable. How do you in the actual code it gets tricky because you're not sure exactly how to handle it if you know, the variable goes missing. They start from the scratch, or how do they get their variable back, their quest item back, if you can loot them. We
right.
need to figure out the whole how do we handle inventories first and such.
Or
But
maybe we do
that's down the
something
road.
like, what's it called? Destiny 2 system where like you lose an item in raid or you forget to collect it, then it shows up in a what do they call it, mailman or whatever.
Little post office thing.
Post office, yeah. Maybe we could do something like that. I don't know if it's possible, but those unique items that are tied
Maybe
to a
if you have
player,
that's easy because
Um,
they'll have tagged the quests and they're in the quest lines. They can just go back and pay money and get the quest item back.
right? Okay, that would be a way to do it. Because we don't want to have a situation where a player can't complete a full quest line because they don't have the next item, like because
Yeah.
they lost it in PvP or something, or they died to a zombie, and So I don't know if there's a way to do, like the chess mod, like the gravestone mod for in that modded pack we were playing. Like I wonder if there's something where we could, make that into a plugin where if you died in the field, you go collect your inventory from the Merchants Guild or something. Maybe they have a
um,
feature where you go,
you
you
just
pay a
make
fee.
quest items soulbound.
Exactly.
Soulbound?
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay, I haven't heard of this concept. Can you explain it?
Soulbound items are always kept on death.
Okay, so okay, pretty simple. That's cool.
Yeah.
Basically, we just permanently bind the item to the player and say so that way we just bind the item to a player tag
Mm,
that they have, and so it's always in the inventory.
right.
I
They take care of
believe
it.
Soulbound is also a modded enchantment, so you could
Mm.
probably have that like
It is, yeah.
Okay, so if it's
enchant.
an
Yeah.
enchantment, we could probably tie into with the scripting or plugin language because that might be an event or something we can
Mm.
check for. One second. So Demon Defender's asking if we can do Mindustry to Discord chat, and there is a way to do it, but this will be the same type of coding that I'm going to be using in the client server, pushing um, player events to build my PvP ranked server lobby and matchmaking. So I'll probably get around to it in the next few weeks where I'll try to integrate parts of Discord with the server chat itself, and that will be really cool because there's tons of conversations that happen in the game industry, but we don't see those here anywhere where everyone's like available. And there's no like log files or anything like that, so it'll be cool to see history. Anyway, but back to Minecraft for a bit. Anyway, that's basically what we're working on
Yeah.
right now.
We are in the Mindustry chat.
Yeah, we keep willing to throw it
Yeah,
in
close
chat, don't
enough.
we?
It's
We're
whatever
checking
we're
out the
we're
music.
building,
Oh,
but this is
yeah.
sort of fun. It's fun to show off like what we've been working on because we put so many hours into it in the last couple
Yeah.
days. Between all the coding I've been doing with my plugin development and what we've been doing here with the build server and everything else, but it's super cool.
Yeah.
Like, am I sharing what screen am I sharing here? It looks like I'm doing. How do I do screen? Change window. It looks like I'm sharing my Minecraft. I want to be just sharing screen one. Here we go. But like here's all the different windows I have open for coding, but all the different sort of plugins that I've found on GitHub and different places for Ministry, and been sort of adding my own features, building my own variations of these guys. Because there's things like removing file-based storage. So file-based storage is like SQLite, which is the default database for a lot of these guys. And the issue is that I can't use it with the way we have the server set up. Right now, we actually have 7 different Mindustry servers in the network that are all linked together via the hub. Well, 6 plus the test server. And because of that, you can't really share a single file between all of those different servers, because if one server is writing to a ban list, for instance, and then another server attempts to write at the same time, there's going to be a conflict where either the new player that was banned won't be written to the log file, or they'll just error out entirely. So what I've been doing is building my own system that works with MongoDB, which is a little bit more powerful, allows for multiple concurrent connections. So Mongo is capable of handling hundreds of connections at the same time, while a physical file like SQLite can only handle 1, maybe 2 different servers. So it's been interesting trying to build my own versions of this, figuring out what types of data to track, things like that. And we have some tools. Siler is a member on here along with a few other people, and we're sort of like keeping track of the different things we're working on in the 800 gaming community. But like, here's all the sort of like task list for my websites, for my YouTube channel, what's going on with Discord, Mindustry. I don't know how many times my headset has died today. I need a way to flip between what monitors like being recorded. Maybe I should just record monitor 1. That could probably be the easiest. Left display. Minecraft. Okay, cool. Yeah. Got Trello. But yeah, I think I might as well just make this Trello publicly accessible. What channel should this be linked in? Maybe suggestion? No, website and servers maybe? Yeah, here. Here is a list of some of the things we are working on actively. Alright, we have 3 game categories, right? A vanilla ranked custom. Trying to figure out a new hub area. Oh, interesting. To make the hub work, I can do any layout, but I need a bunch of. How many game categories do we have? You're right. We have survival and attack could probably merge into the same area. It's more or less the same game mode. PvP would need its own, and then mini games probably in one section. And all I need is a some sort of marker for all the servers, and the server should be. I'll pull my. I'm gonna put this in the stream actually, so I can see anyone watching the YouTube can see what we're talking about. Oh, are you in game or are you on through SSH? Okay. It's probably gonna be really hard to do in game. What server was he banned from? Screen slash. Are you currently attached? Well, I want you to do it, but I'll get into another server and then I'll walk you through it here. But you do info siler fire, for instance, and then it's going to show you that player, right? It's probably not. All you have to do is sort of hover over the UUID, and if you hover over and putty, it will copy it to the clipboard, and then you can just do. I think the command's unban. Yeah, unban space. Oh, did you hit Control C? Okay. Can you screenshot that for me? But just to restart the server using the command buffer. Yeah, I'll have to look at that error. See if it was a plugin or. Crap. Yeah, this is the issue that the original history plugin had. It's this exception with the links list where the last element is above the buffer. So they have the issue is that it doesn't reset between games and it doesn't clear excessive entries. So I did this temporary fix where I just upped the buffer limit, but I just needed to create like some sort of purge algorithm. Anyway, but I'm looking at a picture right now of the diagram that Yosir has posted, and I think this could work and give us a unique hub map. A couple things on this thing. It needs to be sandbox mode. If you make build speed 0, nobody can build or remove structures. The way I've written the plugin with hub is that I put in map coordinates and it creates the server. So I in the plugin I designate all the different servers and their ports, and then it adds these objects to the map. But you do have to have like a launch pad or a core or something like that on the map to serve as like a physical marker. I think that makes it a lot easier for players to sort of navigate. But anyway. Mm-hmm. Right. The name for the screen session or what? Attack is the mode, right? Right. I really want to know why can't that channel. What are you talking about, Charlotte? Bug report discussion. Um, where's that under? I'm looking at. So if you're watching my screen right now, you see all channels that are available. Bug reports. Okay, let me see the channel permissions for this one. It should be public. I'm gonna say screamer mode off. Permissions. Everyone can read and everyone should be able to send, right? I want reactions. That should be fine. Okay, so now bug report should be a channel that you can see. Bug report discussion. So bug report, we have a separate one for the staff to give feedback on the maps, but and staff are going to be the most closely aligned with the community. I feel like we have pretty good staff here at 810 Gaming. We've got a great crew, and we're going to keep adding members of the community that we feel like are being helpful, being engaged members of the community, and there are a lot of them. I mean, let's pull from the database here so you can get an idea, but make sure there's no information on here that's a problem to show off. I'm trying to build some things that will allow us to have well, first of all, verification on Discord is very important for tracking, linking Discords to user accounts in Mindustry because of griefers. If we ban a user's Mindustry and they have it linked to Discord, they can't use that Discord in the future to re-register with a new account on Mindustry, which means that if we kick a griefer, it's much harder for them to come back again and again and again. And that makes all of our servers that are behind the hub wall better quality. We're not going to see as many griefers. And the other cool thing about ranked PvP is there's not going to be the issue of griefing at all, because you're going to invite if you're playing a 2v2 rank match, you're going to invite the other person that you're playing with. You're going to add people as your friend, and then those people will be prioritized in the matchmaking to be on your own team. And that comes back to what I was talking about earlier, where we may have this issue with unbalanced teams, and we might have to do some sort of handicap multiplier for the team that is at a disadvantage. Because if you're trying to play with a friend every time, and you and your friend are 7 and an 8 on the 1 through 10 ranking scale, while the only team that we can match you against in the matchmaking are 5s, we need to do something to balance out those teams. Maybe you start with some starting resources, or your mining speeds increase, or your build speeds increase, something to sort of help balance that. But the other cool thing about this is, because it's going to be ranked and locked down, you'll still be able to spectate, but it's going to be locked down, so we can do things like player damage will be enabled. We can enable, we don't have to worry about griefing at all, since you can only grief yourself. So if you're playing a ranked PvP match and you decide to grief yourself or your friend who you know and added to your friend list, like, you're just, there's no words to describe how idiotic that is, that you're like joining a ranked match to grief yourself. Like, go for it, but you're gonna lose every time, and it's gonna do no benefit for you. So it's gonna be really cool to see once we have this all built out. But still a few things on the roadmap before that's possible. I'm hoping to get that done probably next week with the server communication. Once I have that built, it's pretty simple to just fire up a few more servers that will serve as the dedicated ranked servers, and then I just got to add some more tables to the database for matchmaking, and then there we are, good to go. And we should probably see, after I figure out server communication, it's probably 2 more days from that we'll have our first test. It'll just probably be like Siler and a few other staff members, and we'll just be testing the ranked PvP. But once we have it sort of working, right, it'll be on Hub. Right. We'll be the ones that will probably join it off right off the bat. Spectators will be open to join. But the issue will be like, it will be working, but there won't be any matchmaking logic, and that's the issue. I can't just launch the servers, because I don't think the play experience is gonna be very good if we just do random matchmaking. But then again, it would probably be all right for a few days. It would at least get us some data, so I could use that data as inputs when trying to build the matchmaking system. So really cool to see. Right. Right. And right. And that's one of the biggest issues. Okay. How did you get banned? Because nobody could ban you unless they were an admin. They could vote kick you, so maybe it's a pardon issue. Oh, interesting. Oh, I don't know why it would. I'll have to look into that one, how that was even possible. Yeah, Charlotte. So we have the Mindustry guide, we have the Mindustry feedback on maps specifically for the staff room. So, I mean, staff that are noticing like repeated complaints from the player base are going to be posting things in that staff room, and we communicate with all of the map makers, sort of give them that feedback. Um, if you're not currently a part of that, I'll, I'll add that to the list of things to do. Let me try to get you on the Mapmaker feedback because that's what it's for specifically. Staff room, Ministry map feedback. Here it is. Edit channel. So you're currently listed as able to see that, Charlotte. So you can just be all asking for feedback directly here with and from the staff. So is there any reason I can't go map discussion? Map discussion and the staff channels, or are we talking map discussion in general? I don't think we have a map discussion. Um, is there a way to like? I need like multiple windows somehow. Even discussion, even gossip. I think the thing to do would be, how can we do this? One thing we're gonna be doing is down the road is all players will be able to vote in game for give the map they're currently playing a score. So we're talking like a 1 through 10, where what we can do then is do a random shuffle with a weight of the rating of that map. So if the rating is like a 7.8, that would be if you haven't played a low ranking map in a very long time, it would throw it into the rotation as next. But otherwise, it would pick some of the more popular maps. Um, like one thing I've noticed, and Siler's seen this too, but like the attack maps might go on for hours and hours and hours, and like it's probably sort of discouraging if you jump in at noon and you look and you're like, they're still playing the same attack map that evening. When do you log it again? It's like, but that is sort of the nature of attack sometimes. Right, right. But like I'm looking at the server list right now though, and like we got 37 people in PvP and 3 people in attack. I mean, I've seen parts of the day. Okay, that's right. But I've seen earlier today attack had more people than PvP. So it's sort of interesting watching the fluctuations and what becomes the most popular. And I think attack is a great place to learn. And it's a little bit more intense than survival, I feel like. Um, on most of the maps that are in our rotation pool. So a player can go on there and like sort of try to figure out how a schematic works, but we don't really have a way for players to learn. And this is one thing I've thought a little bit about over the last few days. But how do we build a game mode where a new player can actually go practice concepts? And I think that comes with one of our game modes that we're looking at doing, Rush, which is gonna be really interesting. I was reading through our schematic document again today for the game mode, but basically we're looking at some sort of mode where you have a limited amount of resources and it's a time-based system. So the idea being, instead of playing a 1 hour Mindustry game, you can get 60% of the experience in 10 minutes. And that would be a ranked game mode at sort of evaluating your skills and have some sort of effect on your multiplier and your score. But one thing I'd love to do in the future is do, like, professional wrestling or something. Like, if there's a challenger that is coming for the belt, then they have to do like a fight and you have to like defend your title. If we could do the same sort of thing with like high level Mindustry PvP, that would be really interesting to watch. Uh, make some sort of award, or if our ranking system became like the official ranking system for unofficial ranking for PvP. We can do all kinds of different things down the road, but I'd love to have like a YouTube channel like showing the highlights of these super high intensity games. Let's see what Charlotte's saying. How many Yosiri asked how many lobbies do we want to have? Sorry, I didn't see this a little earlier, but I think how many lobbies would we have? We're gonna have at least the 6 game modes that we have right now, the 6 servers. So an attack, a PvP, I'm gonna hear back from Recessive soon. I'm pretty sure we're gonna keep if they don't want us to keep Plague, we're gonna just recreate Plague as a slightly different game mode. We already had a concept where we wanted to do one team as attack only, basically beef up the complexity of the attack game mode to allow players to actually play as Team Red. So we're gonna have some sort of Plague, like manned attack mode. We're gonna have hexed. We're probably gonna have a low tech hex is one of my goals. I want to like ban a lot of the items like Ripple, Arc, Lancer, a few other things. Maybe the high level mechs as well. And the other things we want to do are we're gonna do a verified Discord PvP server, and then we're gonna do the ranked matches. So we probably need 2 lobbies for solo play, 1v1s, a lobby for a 2v2, and a lobby for a 3v3 right off the bat. Past there, we'll see. JJ and I were talking about this earlier. Well, maybe I was just talking at him. I do that a lot. But like we were talking about how like the player count you need on a server in order to sustain a certain type of game mode. Like say one of my big concerns for Minecraft is we don't want to launch this Minecraft server if we're only gonna have 10 people online, because a really unfortunate side effect of having this low player count is you decide you want to go play Hunger Games, right? So you swarm over to the lobby and you enter the Hunger Games arena and you're sitting there for 10 minutes waiting for somebody else to join because the game won't start until you have a second player. But if there's only 10 people in the server, one or two of them are AFK, they're not even playing the game. So that you're now down to 8. 3 of those guys are exploring the spawn, so now there's 5, and then 2 or 3 of the other players are in a different game mode. So you might wait in that lobby endlessly, and you're gonna have a really poor experience on your first play, and that is something we want to avoid. So either we're gonna have to lock down lobbies so we don't have all of them available to right off the bat, or we're gonna have to do something where we have enough excitement and we have enough people on day one that we keep that player count fairly high throughout the day. So it's really going to come down to the community to be like to be active there and inviting their friends that do play Minecraft to the Discord, or to giving them the IP address for the server, things like that. Otherwise, we're just not really going to have the best experience we can have. But same thing over here on Mindustry. It's like right now we have, let me refresh this so I can get a most accurate count, but in all of the 8 gaming servers, we have 34 players in PvP, 15 in survival, and 5 in attack. So that's 20 plus 34, 54 players across the 3 servers. So in order to have a good experience on this like mass PvP with big maps, you got to have at least 15 players in there. So if rank starts pulling a lot of people from the other game modes, it'll become this issue of where we don't have the best player experience for everyone overall. So I want to be careful not to launch too many servers at once until we have some population. So, and it's not necessarily even an issue of population, because as you can see, we got what is this? 5,000 logins in less than a week. So there's plenty of people that play Mindustry. It's just not everyone's online because of time zones and just availability to play, things like that. So hopefully this ranked will bring a lot of people to back to Mindustry. It's something new and exciting that, like, if you've played Hex before, you're very familiar with like that fast-paced gameplay. Here's the thing though, it's there's a lot of disadvantages to Hex, because if you're late to the game, it's over. they already have units streaming at you while you are trying to get copper. It's like a good luck facing the army of 15 revenants and a stream of fortresses while you're like trying to get up a dagger mech. Like, yeah, exactly. I hate being rushed in hex PvP. But here's the thing that is going to be really cool. Once I get the API done for the server-to-server communication, I can do this announcement across the network where if you when Hex PvP resets, all the servers in Entertainer Gaming's network will say, "Hey, Hex is going to reset in 30 seconds. We're starting a new game mode. If you want to jump over there, do /hub." So go jump over. Same thing with these rank PvP matches where um, the coolest thing is this is one thing that I think is really missing in a lot of games, but like Call of Duty, right? You join a lobby and you spend several minutes between games. I mean, you might spend 5 or 6 minutes just waiting for the game to start to play a 15-minute game. That means you're spending a quarter of your game time. Say you only have 2 hours to play on Friday night. Like that's all you get, and you spent 25% of your game time waiting in lobbies. Like what a waste. With this lobby matchmaking system I'm trying to build, you could be playing a PvP match up to the second you're teleported to the 1v1, which is gonna be super cool. Um, right, because like PUBG has like a quarter that way, where like in PUBG, like you get to play that little like you can throw rocks at each other before the game starts, but that's not a game, you know. Same thing, right? Right, right. Hmm. Okay, so Yosira, your question about how to turn off player damage, turn off build speed. If build speed is 0, they won't be able to initiate a deconstruction or construction. I may have to just do it in the plugin as well. I can set all structures to like this invincible mode where they're at like max health. That might be a workaround, but different things. Taking a look at previous for what the game mode is. Attack. Interesting. You'd have to show me a fully built out concept, but this is really interesting. How you got like units spawning and sort of pushing. Hmm. Right. This is one of the funniest things though. I'm in hub right now, and we got like 3 players mining lead into the core. Freaking love it. Uh, oh heck yeah, we're having a freaking party in here. Like almost everyone that's in the chat right now on Discord is currently in the hub mining lead. Let's go, boys. Anyway, for mind lead and hub, 247,000. Actually, Yosira, when you're building your map, could you put like a mech hubs or like little Easter eggs around the hub? That'd be sort of funny. But Yeah, we were talking about all kinds of things that we can do to track to see if a player is a good member of the community. Like, do they mine or do they place drag miners? Do they all these different things? Like one thing I want to track is like, do they help new players? Like, if somebody says I'm having this issue, like, do they respond? And I I'm trying to figure out what to do it like automatically with some sort of like AI to like analyze a chat, right? So it's like, oh, this player had a question and this other player responded with this. If those things are related, we can like give this one a little boost in reputation or something, and that can help us do, you know, true being led. Staff mostly respond to the questions, and they do good, but unfortunately we don't have complete coverage yet with the staff, but eventually we'll get to a point where there's 30 or 40 different community mods and admins and map makers all in this in the Discord, where anytime there's an issue or a question, somebody will be online to answer that. And I think that's gonna be really cool, where we'll be one of those servers that has, you know, great active staff pool to deal with any of these issues. But yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, everyone's like, lead's full. Everyone switched to copper. Oh my gosh. Right. Yeah. Right. We talked about this the other night, having like some preset messages that you can sort of call as a player to help someone out. And this is really cool. Right. Let's go, Jack Rob. Right. Okay. Maybe that could be the indicator for determining the. Okay, that's a really good idea actually. Can you add that one to the Trello? That's one we can implement pretty easily. So when I start building out the reputation system, this is funny. We've got a lot of the staff just chilling right now in the hub, and it's really interesting to see like the number of players that I'm always curious about like the player counts and stuff, and there's lots of interesting things. Let me see if I can show this without showing our IP address of the server. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Everyone has the IP, but here's our hosting, right? And this is our daily bandwidth usage over time, and it's pretty fascinating because it, I actually moved from a hosting provider called Volter a few weeks ago to this. And the issue with Volter is we were actually going over our bandwidth limitation, and there were going to be some massive overage charges. Like you get 1 terabyte per month on Volter's like base server hosting, and we were burning through that every 10 days. So you know, I was looking at charges that were like several times more than I was actually paying for hosting. Like, here's our bandwidth usage over the day, and like, this is at one point where we're using 80 megabits of upload on a 1 gigabit connection. So we're using about 8% of the total bandwidth. But like, this is insane. Do some math here, but if you were using 80 megabits all day times 8,000, well, divided by 8, because you want to convert megabits to, well, clear this, but 80 divided by 8 is 10 megabytes per second times 8 for 600. So this number divided by 1,000 is the number of, what is this, gigabytes per day? 846 gigabytes per day times 30 days in a month. You'd be looking at 25 and a half terabytes of information transferred every month just from Mindustry and Minecraft with like more or less no players on Minecraft right now. 25 terabytes per month. Okay, a movie file is what, 2 to 3 gigs? Like this would be the equivalent of transferring 12 to 14,000 full-length movies every month in bandwidth. It's just like it's impossible for us to host now with unmetered internet because we're already at a point right now where our average bandwidth usage is about 40 megabits right here in the middle. If I swap up to a 7-day chart, you can see it's fairly consistent in the 30 to 40 range. So we're already up to about 12 to 14 terabits per month. So there were no hosting plans that were sufficient to have that kind of bandwidth at Volter. So we had to upgrade to some pretty beefy hardware. So it's sort of insane when you get into like the high-end server administration, like what you have to do to like sort of solve these issues, which otherwise would not be an issue. But right, like, and what's really interesting about it, like household internet connections typically cap out at 300 gigs. Like, most people have like cell phone plans where their bandwidth is throttled to like a few gigs a month. Like, we use a few gigs every minute. Like, it's how many do we use a minute? Well, we use clear this. Um, where's my clear here? How many minutes are there in a day? 60 times 24, 1044 a day. So say it was 400 gigs a day divided by 1440. We're using a quarter of a gig per minute. So it's just insane bandwidth. Like, you'd use up your phone plan in 15 minutes. So okay, Demon is in no mic chat is saying, does Whisper work? I don't know what the problem is with Whisper. I'm gonna look into it next time I push changes from the plugin. So I typically push changes once per day after I've made a bunch of edits to my Visual Studio Code. Like, I have all kinds of plugins that I'm sort of working on right here. Like, this is the actual game for Mindustry itself from the GitHub. Here's what is this? Oh, this is my hub fork that I've been building to be able to do all this different servers. I've changed a lot about how the threads work and things like that, the different checks that are made. Here's a plugin I'm building out called A10 Utilities, and this actually has the Whisper command. Whisper is like one of the example commands that Anakin actually put in his plugin. So Whisper should be working. Maybe it's not Whisper. It's probably what is it? I I know there's a Whisper command that I have in here. Yeah. Oh, here. Yeah, that's the problem. I was spelling it wrong. Whisper. No, this should be working. Um, Let me try it in Hub. Anybody in here? No, it's just me. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Attack and give it a try. Okay. Whisper. Too few arguments. Whisper. Siler. Fire. Hello. No player with that name found. Maybe it's not working because was it? I think I did the capital S. I think maybe the issue is this. White. No, what's your color? What's your admin color? Cyan? Let's try that. I think I might have broken it when I put prefixes in. Let me give it. Oh, what the heck did Attack lose? Yeah, they just got breached. Dang, that sucks. Because right. Let's see what the color is for admins. Let me just confirm that. Uh, yeah, this is a problem with plugin development. You're teal, correct. I think what happened is Whisper might be broken because I put in these prefixes. So I'll do a different way to implement these prefixes, or I'll strip prefixes from the player names when you're doing the search, and that would work too. Siler fire test. Did you get a message? Okay, can you send one back just so we can show it on stream here? My player prefix is orange, so you need to put orange in front of my name. But another thing here is so the naming scheme here shows whether or not player is a staff member or if they've been added to Discord. So I'm orange. I'm the only one that's orange. JJ actually should be orange as well because he's an owner. And then you have white for regular players. Siler Fire is a admin, so he has the teal color. Blue is for Discord. We might change his color slightly, but we want the Discord to sort of look like the Discord icon. So that's sort of the idea. But that means all these people have not become members of the Discord and verified. And it's not that hard of a concept. All I gotta do is do /register. And then for me, it says you're already registered. I made some additions there. But when they do /register, they'll get a pin and it'll tell them the exact command they need to write in Discord, and then they're verified. And I've been watching people verify over the last few days, and there's been no issues with people who've recently verified, so that's good. It used to be a huge headache for a lot of people, but I made some changes in the way that it checks, and it's become a lot more clear. So yeah, there we go. Whisper, Silent Fire. So Whisper does work. I'm gonna do some changes to the plugin to strip those prefixes out of the names, and that will fix the issue with the Whisper command. Oh, did that go to you? Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do feedback as well in the plugin so that you it repeats the message back to you if that would be helpful. Told you it doesn't work. So it does work. It just yeah, I got to make some changes to make it a little more clean. Right. When the friends list is fully built out, it's gonna be really cool. Like, I can't show the command because it'll show my IP address, but like, there are commands we have as staff members to sort of find out the information about a player to make judgment calls about whether or not they're a griefer or if they've been toxic. And we've been building all kinds of things for tagging individuals. But we're going to be using all that data and sort of as inputs to decide things. I don't know if it's even possible, but I think what we can do is do like for instance, if you have multiple staff members that are repeatedly kicking a player, it's going to do things like the kick time is going to increase each time. So we don't have to keep dealing with the same player over and over again. Or maybe at a certain point, if you've been if you've been kicked 10 times from the server, let's just ban him. But maybe do it for 30 days, something like that. So, I mean, right now we're recording all kicks by staff. I'm going to make some changes to the way that the server works as well, so that any kick that occurs by vote kick will show up in our log files. But we have tons of what are they called? Yeah, here we go. Here's all the kicks. Anything with this symbol is a kick or a report coming from inside the game. We change the symbol here, but every day we're banning dozens of individuals because there's constantly griefers, but they do not. So mods don't have ban, but I want to incorporate a way for mods to be able to do something more permanent, so we can avoid this issue of having to re-kick people constantly. But I feel like at a certain point, it really just falls on you to wise up. If you've been kicked 10 times, like the next kick should just automatically ban you. And then right. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna show off Yosira's maps that he's been working on for the new hub. So he's got actual like previews of combat in the attack and PvP area and things like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you might have to do something to make sure they stay in their zone and don't move out of that. The other thing is the hubs themselves should probably be make them the same color as the player. So the orange color is default. That way, when mobile players join, they won't automatically target those hubs, and just it's sort of annoying because it does like the little bullet fly like all day. So don't want to avoid that issue. I don't know if you can disable auto attack because I think that's client side, but I'll look into it. If you put that on that Trello, that's another one I can look into. Question from Demon about share band and kick list. So yes, that is a feature we're trying to add. Once it falls under the same category as that server like server communication API that I'm building for the lobbies and the rank servers. But eventually we're going to get to a point where if you're kicked on any of the primary servers, those kicks are going to sort of be shared. So if you're kicked from PvP, attack, or survival, those kicks are going to transfer over. I don't know if we might do separate types of categories though, because it seems like there's a lot more a lot of new players, right, who might vote kick someone because they just see somebody destroying something, and a lot of the time it's an illegitimate kick. Like it's somebody that was fixing something. Like Charlotte got kicked today while she was fixing some production shades, and that was obviously not a legitimate kick. But so it happens. So I don't want to like ban somebody from all the servers for accidental kick. So what I think I'm going to do is probably do a different kick list for hub protected servers and ones that require Discord verification than for the regular open like sort of public lobby servers. Jerome tried to kick me randomly. There's so many players that was. I remember when the server was first up, I was playing a match. Like I think the first day I had the server up, I played all day. It was really funny. I'd been playing for like 8 or 9 hours at this point, and we're in this game, and this guy just starts vote kicking literally everyone. He had no clue who the actual like perpetrator of this griefing was, but he just one by one he kicked everyone. He started to vote kick on me, and I'm like, dude, I own this server. Why would I why would I grief my own server? And he's like, oh. So it's like there's lots of people out there who will just start a vote kick with no evidence. And that's a big issue because there's other people who will just be like, oh, there's a vote kick, I'll vote him off. And so we're gonna be doing some things like Siler and I have talked at length about this, but if you've had multiple votes against you, you're gonna you're going to require less votes to successfully kick you. Or if you're a fresh player, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, make it like 4. Or if you're like, if you've been around and you're deemed trustworthy, maybe it's 5. But there's also going to be a scaling factor depending on the population of the server. Because if there's only 10 people playing, it's gonna be harder to vote kick someone, so maybe the numbers drop a little bit. But this should like help balance it out, make it a little easier to kick actual griefers. The other thing I want to do is if I build a custom version of the server, I can overwrite the default functionality of vote kick, where because how it works in the code, if you click tab, right, you get this screen. Mine's a little bit different than yours if you're just a regular player, but you have the vote kick button, and what happens in that is there's some checks in the server. Let me find it so I can actually show you in code. But vote kick. So here's the client command vote kick. But what happens is, let's actually pull higher up in the code. There's one called player list. Vote kick. Yeah, here it is. So when you here's what the code that actually builds that list of players for you. And what happens is if you hit the hammer icon, it calls a chat message, vote kick, and the name of the player that you've clicked in the list. So this functionality can't change because it's on the client side, on mobile or on Steam or however you're playing the game. But what I can change is the way I host VoteKick on the back end. So VoteKick, here's the client command. Here we go. So a few things. The server checks if VoteKick is disabled in the config. So VoteKick is enabled on all A10 gaming servers. It requires a certain number of players to be online to start a kick. If there's too few players, if there's less than 3, you could just kick your opponent if it was a 1v1, right? So it requires 3 players. You can't kick yourself. And there's some other checks too. I think you can't kick admins. Yeah, if found as an admin, it won't let you kick them. But what we can do here is change this functionality by default, where because one of the strategies of griefers is they'll jump in a match, right, and then they'll vote kick a random person so that they get a free reign while this vote is going on. But I want to overwrite the default functionality so that even if a vote's ongoing, if multiple people click on the griefer and start to ban him, then it would cancel the previous vote and then let's vote this griefer off, you know? So this is one thing I want to get to eventually. I think it'd be a great feature. Anyway, someone tried to kick my alt account. Yeah, it's funny. I actually have a few alts because I have my PC, my laptop, and my phone. Let's see here. Cool. Make sure you got the healing right, or eventually that map's gonna need to be reset. But yeah, it'd be fine if it. Yeah, it'd be sort of interesting. Off topic. Husendi suggestions. How about when people vote kick, we should put option why they vote kick, like grief or talk. Okay, it's a good idea. Unfortunately, most people vote kick using the list, so there's not really a way to do the message. Unless I do some really big modifications or make like a custom client. But if people started using /votekick, so what /votekick does is list all the players. I could change this command to include a kick reason. What I'd love to see, because lots of people will start a vote kick, but they don't give any context in chat. They need to say in chat like, hey, I'm kicking this person because I saw them griefing, or I'm kicking this person because they're toxic, and like give a reason, because that way people can vote yes or vote no. But definitely, I agree with that. Having some sort of reasoning. Either I'm going to try to work out a custom solution for the A10 Gaming Network, or I'm going to submit either a pull request to actually change the code in the game to Anakin, the game developer, and maybe he'll include that code into the actual game, or I don't know. But definitely one thing we want to look into. I don't know if I showed this earlier on the stream, but in our chat logs we have some really cool stuff. Report log, I think it is. But every time somebody in game reports a player, we get this log showing the name of the player, their UUID, and the reason that they were reported for. And using this, we sort of build a database of malicious players, and we can then start to look for patterns or develop automatic detection, automatic kicking, and banning systems. But once again, we don't have enough data at this point to be confident enough in our kicks if they were automated. So we still have to rely on input of our mods and staff. So anyway, well, now that it's very earlier in the morning, I'm not sure exactly why I'm up. This is why you don't drink caffeine at like midnight. Like, I was a little bit thirsty, so I opened up a Mountain Dew Voltage, and yeah, we're here. Only 100 milligrams, but it was enough, I guess, that late at night. So I guess I need to go take a nap for a couple hours. I'm not allowed caffeine. Oh gosh, that's pretty funny. Anyway, well, right. It stunts your growth. Your bones won't get strong. Caffeine actually does. It's supposed to have this effect on your bones, where it makes like less, like the calcium's not absorbed as well, or something like that. So yeah, yeah, right, right, right. My issue is that like, is that even good for me? I don't know. If you feel like you're dependent on it, it's probably not. Like my issue is like if I drink caffeine pretty consistently for a few days, then if I don't if I spend a few days not drinking caffeine, like I'll get headaches on day 2 and day 3, and past there I'm fine, but I have to like sort of reset. The other thing that's sort of funny is like I was trying a couple weeks ago before I started these like code sprints in Mindustry and like these late night calls with you, Siler, is like I was trying to I have an alarm on my phone every day for 9:30, and it's like to take a melatonin pill so I can like start working off the fact that all melatonin in my system is burnt off by the 3 monitors I stare at for like the hours before. So I was like, trying to like supplement my natural melatonin production, but I kept missing my 9:30, and then I'd just stay up because you'd jump on and we'd have these conversations and we'd be developing doing things together, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, huh, I guess I'll go to sleep now. But anyway. Well, yeah, I gotta go back a little earlier. I'm getting up later and later each day, and it's bad. Right. I actually did that for the first time. Like I do like wait stay up all day and I get a good reset in. Because if you can make it till a reasonable time, like a normal bedtime, then you've reset your sleep schedule, which is nice. Anyway, sort of funny. We were just like in the music channel, and now we have like 7, 8 people that have been listening for an hour and a half to our spiel about what we've been up to. I think we'll do this a couple times a week if people are really interested in it. We'll try to figure out what people's time zones are, though. Oh, another thing, I'll automate this process soon, but if you want to reach out to Siler, if you can assign people roles, I think we have, let me see here, server settings, roles. We have EU, US, Asia, and AU, some basic time zone stuff, but it'd be interesting, like, I think I'm tagged US, but like if everyone can be tagged like with their time zone, so you're not like adding someone in the middle of the night, things like that. But if you want a tag, reach out to Siler, or I think Yosira has permissions to edit some basic roles. You might need to check into that though. I like McDonald's there. Oh, Jollibee. Okay, dude. I lived in the Philippines for 2 years. I freaking love Jollibee, dude. Dude, Jollibee Sundays were like my guilty pleasure for a while. It's funny. That and like the chicken for some reason. I thought it was always funny. There's like Jollibee's like a burger joint, but like they have like KFC style chicken with rice. It's so awesome. But anyway, what's the difference between pregnant woman and light bulb? Oh my god. No, 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 no. Hey, this chat's like, this is a PG 14 chat. There's kids here. Anyway. The After Dark. Oh, dude. JJ, we unintentionally made it all night. I don't know if, was this the goal or did we just accidentally get to here? Oh, we still do need people to test Minecraft too, by the way. Like, if people are wanting to join in on that, we could use a few testers to help us test permissions specifically, but we want to make sure that like things are working as intended, that you can use the /hub command, that you can use the teleport command, use the bank, use the starting quests, that the arenas work for you, things like that. And we want to make sure, because we're hoping to launch about 24 hours from now, but we don't want to have a bunch of problems on day one where we're playing firemen rather than just doing some community moderation stuff on day one. So anyone interested in that, like reach out to myself or JJ. What else are we up to? I guess Charlotte's still working on Italy. I was planning on staying up like an hour while you finished that one, but it's been 5. Mod reports. Nice, nice. Industry general chat. What do we got here? Holy crap. Oh, okay. Like, why are there so many servers? Did somebody screenshot my screen? Because you can see how many there are. But the 1800 Gaming Network is PvP, Attack, Test, Survival, Hub, Plague, Hexed, and then this is another mod maker, Chaotic Neutral. His server might get listed pretty soon, so I was checking that out earlier. But how many people are playing? We got almost 40 on PvP plus another 29, so 70 people online across all the servers. Pretty incredible. Once again, let's see how many people are actually Discord verified. So on PvP, 35 people on right now. Not a single one has registered on Discord. All of these people will not be able to submit ban appeals. They won't be able to submit suggestions. They won't be able to submit maps or schematics or report players. They won't be able to join hub or join ranked or join all these different things. So it's unfortunate. Anyway, we need to help more people get in Discord. Nice. It's a good thing. This is my current overview of like all the tabs that I have open in Chrome, and it's sort of funny because this is about average for me, but the other day when I was really working on plugins, I was up to about 120 different Chrome tabs. Always a little bit of chaos here. Yeah, so here's an issue with this map. It has a really long respawn timer, making it very difficult to defend once you start getting pushed. Right. Right. I think the map works great. This is one of the favorite of the. There's a freaking Ricardo in the center. Oh. I want to make a sandbox for pixel art or for schematics. Right. I don't know how to protect it though. Where do you see it? Oh, the ghost guy thing? What? Uh, Me and the boys forming a cult just to cap copper and lead. Nice. Oh, Mike chat, what's going on? What happens when you cross an eel and an eagle? It's illegal. Jollibee fries? Ah, dude, it's all about McDonald's fries. You got McDonald's in the Philippines. Ugh, I'm hungry for it. Dude, Ricardo, what a great guy. Jollibee fries. It's funny, Jollibee burgers have so much mayonnaise on them. That's one thing I remember. It's weird. Sort of interesting menu over there. Their Coke float, also pretty good. It's weird, they didn't have a root beer float, they had Coke floats. Yeah, all kinds of different things. Yeah. Anyway, what are we up to, JJ? What are we doing next? Okay. Are you planning on just staying up? Or is that what we're doing? Trunktopus? What happens when you cross an elephant and an octopus? A trunctopus? Nice. Alright. I'm gonna be ending the stream. I might edit this up and post it to some sort of like devlog video thing. I don't know, I haven't made a video in a while, so someone please make a joke channel. I can't take